Normally I'd like fix this with some sneaky editing or something. But you know what? After a couple of weeks of racing in the absolute slop, it's starting to rain. Seamless transition to a sunny day. Yeah, that's better.
Oh, I wish to be the only one who could see what's in your eyes. They're always hiding something holy.
There's a few boys out enjoying their Sunday morning ride, and I tell you what, we're going to go and do exactly the same thing. But before I do, I just want to quickly say this, guys. Look, thank you very much for the feedback and commentary in the last few weeks. Kind of going forward the next couple of weeks, what I want to do is, I know we've touched on some of this stuff, like reviewing helmets and sunglasses and shoes and tyres and all this kind of stuff, and we've kind of scratched the surface of it, but haven't really gone into much depth. So I want to change that up. Can you tell I haven't ridden for a bit? I want to change it up a little bit and go into depth with a couple of things. To be honest, the main reason I haven't done this stuff in the past, kind of two reasons. Number one, I haven't really backed myself to do reviews, so there's that, so you're going to have to just follow along with me. The other is, well, I've got to buy this stuff. So Elizabeth watches these things, right? We can't sit down and watch one in the evening, and Liz is like, hang on, that's a different set of sunglasses. How'd you get those? There's a bit of that to this. I can't really just go out and be buying new products to review on this for the sake of that. So I really want to do things like tyres. That's what I want to do. Like, and I can build that into the team, because next year I'd love the guys to us all run the same tyres and that, and I'd love to kind of bring you along on that journey. We'll definitely talk about these helmets. We'll definitely talk about some of these sunglasses and lots of other bits and pieces coming up. Cameras, cameras is another big one I know you guys have been asking us about. Like, I'm running a little RX100 Mark V at the moment, but you guys have commented that obviously the production and stuff seems to have got better the last few weeks, so there is a new lens we're using. I will say that. We'll also be doing some training chat, speed bump. The Neuro Coaching Performance Camp, which is coming up. So if when they've initially posted it, you had a look at it, go back onto the website, put the link below. They've updated the actual itineraries, the details, because I know a lot of people are asking, seriously, Chris, it's not that steep. Oh, I'll be getting dropped down at that camp. Get there. Speaking, there was no segue at all there. Let's see if we can find a few old characters you haven't seen for a while, shall we? Morning, Robbie!
Good.
How good's this, Seb? It's not raining.
Still I'm afraid to even try to love you like I shouldn't try.
Here's some artistic B-roll music, and let's go to Waterfall.
If we start breaking the rules now, I'm not sure there's a way to escape that. We would crash into the moon now. Going too fast, not ready for that yet. If we start breaking the rules now, I'm not sure there's a way to escape that. We would crash into the moon now.
As an under 17, I have to run a 7-meter rollout, and there's lots of different combinations you can do that for, but I run a 1x3611. It makes me spin a bit. Guess just you gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, take it slow.
Seb, is 23.4 degrees.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're wearing a winter jacket, a base layer, you had a snug on, you're wearing leg warmers, and you're wearing...
And my right
toe
toes are
warmers.
still cold.
Believe it or not, this man is from England. January.
Thankfully
in
though,
Victoria.
this thing, honestly, not just saying it, you do feel like this channel of air hitting your head. It's nice. First time I wore the helmet, it kind of freaked me out. I thought there was something wrong. Then I realised. So it is actually quite effective. You get a nice little cool spot. So that's good.
Save this for the. We're going to do a review on these helmets.
Okay.
So maybe you can do the review on these.
All right.
All right. We'll do that. We'll do that. Definitely.
See you, mate. Chat to you later, right? See you next time.
Vlogging on the Bay Run is far more dangerous than any NRS race, so I can promise you that. I have no real issue with pedestrians walking in the bike lane. It's the only thing is that, like, those pedestrians will be the first motorists to give out to cyclists for riding on the road, not in the cycle path. Anyway, we're not going to go on for a rant because it's a positive vlog today, isn't it? Now, I mentioned I needed to review something that, well, I didn't really know I was going to have to review. So out of all those things, the one thing that I had no intention of getting, let alone reviewing, is these. Let me explain. I've been running the Rc9s for ages now. I've had absolutely no issues with them. A lot of the guys have been running them. Then I decided to go far too quickly into a wet corner just outside Wangaratta in that time trial. Went sliding for a couple of meters, ripped a little bit of skin off, and also, well, ripped a little bit of shoe off. Fast forward a week or so, got my head around replacing the blue ones. Turns out replacing the blue ones was a little bit of a stock issue. I actually balked at grabbing the new versions, which is very unlike me, because I was just really happy with the old ones. Well, that is until I took them out of the box. I was actually going to do an unboxing video, but then I kind of got pretty excited when the box arrived, so I just took them out of the box. Anyway, first impressions straight off the bat of these shoes. If I have to use one word, it would be refinement. It's funny, like, these are things that you didn't notice were things on the older shoes. It's only when you pull out the new ones, you go, oh yeah, that was a little bit. So for me, it's kind of like, yeah, you know what? They've spent a year just working out what worked and what didn't work and made little fine adjustments to it. I reckon there's sort of two obvious spots that this has kind of come through on the newer shoe. The biggest one is definitely up forward. Sort of gone is that mesh panel at the front, which sometimes could get a little bit folded over. It's gone on the newer shoe. They seem to describe it as being able to therefore be a bit more adjustable up forward, and anyone who might have suffered a little bit from hot foot, that issue might be gone on the new one. Taking that mesh panel away from me, like aesthetically, again, just makes that a little bit more stylish, to be honest. It makes it a little bit of a classier look, a neater look, a more refined look. The other big one is, well, it was the sole. Now I know a lot of people run different inner soles and stuff, but I found, so just like pulling these apart and that kind of thing, that the actual inner sole on the new shoe, far better put together than the other one. The other one kind of was a solid enough inner sole, but this feels far more complete inner sole. Now, putting this shoe on, now I haven't put miles into it, obviously we'll do a big review once we've got miles into it, but putting this shoe on, without doubt, the first sensation I got was that it was more of a lower cut. Definitely felt sleeker, no two ways about it. Again, not that the other one felt clunky, but definitely felt that little bit lower, sleeker feel to it. Sizing wise, I have not really found any difference between the two. If I was going to make one comment, I would probably suggest that the new one is running slightly narrower, but that could very well be due to the fact that they have about 12 months of riding on them and they're new. The other little form thing I was going to mention, swapping cleats over, the exact same metrics on the bottom of both the shoes. So it was super easy to get the cleats in exactly the same position across the two. It's actually one of the things I really like about these shoes is the amount of metrics or angles or whatever you want to call it on the bottom of the shoe. Just make that cleat positioning super, super easy. The other thing, taking them out of the box, I did notice this. You don't get the little musette thing. Or at least I didn't. Anyway, maybe they just didn't mean that. But you don't get that nice little Sphyre Shimano musette thing that I subsequently lost anyway, but yeah. Any other questions? I think we need to get on a bike and see what they look like. Putting these on, the first thought is just, it is definitely a snugger feel. Now, trying to put aside the fact that yes, these are new shoes, and I'm obviously comparing them to shoes that I'm well used to as being quite warm, which probably do stretch out a bit. You can definitely feel that little bit more refinement up the front of the shoe. Where that kind of mesh used to sometimes overhang, just seems to come over the foot a little bit better. God, this is a bit dangerous. I run the high arch support in here, and I definitely feel like the arch isn't collapsing at all. It's like the sidewall of the shoe kind of combines better with that high arch support. So for me, who's someone who has the high arch, yeah, again, it comes back to it just feeling that little bit snugger, a little bit more complete. The ratcheting, perfect. I just had a little squeeze there. 3 hours into a ride. You know, sometimes, you know, those boas come a bit loose. I haven't had to do that so far. Again, that could be the reality of new shoes, but just a little one on like the form of them, with the heel being the same color. Oh, I like that, I really like it. It's interesting, you're riding along, you look down, kind of, I've never ridden them, but it does look a lot like the Specialized S-Works shoes. Just that kind of sleek, one-piece kind of thing. I'm getting some serious Dan Forsyth vibes while I'm riding along. You guys probably don't know Dan, or Dan doesn't even watch this, so it's not going to be particularly interesting anyway. So I reckon that's the final thoughts on it. Like I sort of said before we hopped out on the ride, refinement, that little bit neater, that little bit tighter, a little bit maybe narrower. Obviously I'll, you know, ride these for a month or two and we'll do a proper serious hit out on them. But that's kind of where my head's at the moment. We're going out to dinner. Right. Shoes and out to dinner. The next episode of the vlog, not this episode, will include a segment on Ask Elizabeth Anything.
Oh God.
Okay? In the comments below, guys, pop down some questions to this person here.
I will make up a hilarious answer for you.
This is your one and only opportunity to get Elizabeth to answer
No makeup
questions.
shall be worn again.
I'll make sure she has a drink or two beforehand. So do you want to sign off from the vlog?
Do I have to be like Chris?
Yeah.
So, press here, subscribe. Like here, or maybe here. To subscribe.
What do you think of your new helmet? You like it? Oh, there's Gary. So the troops are still, they're here. They're charging along. All right, let's get going.